go to sleep, I might wake up a motherfucking slave.
That's crazy work. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Donald Trump winning and the day after reactions of both Republicans and Democrats. So we'll be going through a lot of TikTok and other social media websites. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment for more videos like this, and let's get into it.
At this point, it really feels like all the people that are saying vote blue no matter who are purposefully not trying to understand the situation for what it is. Because so many creators on here, probably like tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of creators on here, are breaking it down and laying it out for you guys, making it easy to understand, like explaining in detail, analyzing the situation for what it really is, and you guys are not listening, and I think it is on purpose. The fact that I'm still seeing people say, well, one of them wants to finish the job while the other one is calling for a ceasefire. I feel like
this rings so true because I think a lot of us tried to warn liberals and Democrats that this was going to happen, that there was a huge possibility of this happening. And the reason why I say this is because when Kamala first decided to run, there was a lot of excitement around her campaign. She raised almost triple what Trump was able to raise, around $1 billion. She was soaring in the polls, but her inability to distinguish herself, not just from Joe Biden, but also Donald Trump as a candidate, in my opinion, was really her downfall. Because if people want to vote for a conservative, they're just going to vote for a conservative. They're not going to vote for a diet version of a conservative, which was basically Kamala's campaign. Now, I'm not saying that racism, misogyny, white nationalism, white supremacism, I'm not saying all of that doesn't exist, but also the campaign just wasn't convincing for a lot of people. But also, she wasn't given that much time to campaign. She was only given 3 months. And for any candidate, that would be incredibly hard, let alone a woman who's black.
I feel like you guys are purposefully not understanding. So let me once again say it. Yes, one of them is saying finish the job. The other one is calling for a ceasefire while they are actively trying to finish the job. They're just not saying it in those words as aggressively as Trump does.
I agree. I mean, she said it on the day before her campaign ended that she was going to advocate for a ceasefire. That's not convincing. You had 3 months to do that. Your campaign did nothing but alienate Middle Eastern people, alienate the uncommitted movement, alienate Arab leaders. You alienated Muslim and Middle Eastern content creators. You alienated everyone.
I don't know the real reason why we had it so good in 2016 to 2020. It was not because of Donald Trump. Sorry, bursted your bubble. It's because Obama set up the economy for Trump to ride that wave. You know why we're doing so shitty right now? Who was our last president, motherfucker? Fucking Trump. And then Joe Biden had to jump into office and fix all the shit that he ruined when he was in office. You know, I feel bad for Biden. He had to clean up Trump's mess. And now we're all over here saying, oh, this shit's expensive. Thanks, Biden. It wasn't fucking Biden, motherfucker. It was your God that you put into office. We're still under his tax plan right now until 2025. And you know what? In 2025, we're going to have a new president by then. So it won't be Biden's fault now, will it?
Yeah, I mean, another thing that people don't talk about is that our national debt skyrocketed almost 7 times when Donald Trump took office in his 4 years. He skyrocketed our national debt in ways that not a lot of other presidents did, right? And not only that, but he gave a bunch of corporations a ton of tax breaks when COVID happened. So if he really cared about the economy and he really cared about the little people, why did he not give y'all more money, more stipends, more programs to protect y'all when COVID happened? I'm honestly convinced that Americans have the attention span of starfish at this point. Trump will begin his operation to deport millions of undocumented immigrants when he starts his term. I've talked about this before, but Donald Trump is trying to invoke a law from the 1700s. Basically wants to use this law from 1798 to mass deport undocumented people. The cornerstone of former President Donald Trump's 2024 campaign has been promising to carry out the largest deportation operation in United States history. Now, here's the thing. If he actually carries out the largest deportation operation in the United States, our economy is going to be screwed, because I don't think a lot of these Republicans are really understanding how critical undocumented immigrants are for jobs that, quite frankly, Americans don't want to work, right? I'm talking about like contractor work. A lot of them, I don't know if you guys heard about the children that were dying dying in meat factories and these really gruesome deaths. Most of them were undocumented children that came here that had to work. We're talking about like, you know, fruit, vegetable fields. The economy will crash within months. Deportations are taking place in a large scale. And also, not to mention, it's very costly. It costs a lot of money to deport people. And I don't think people really understand that, because the processing, then the actual cost of like putting them back on the plane and sending them back, like that costs a lot. It costs a lot of money. It's not cheap. So sure, we can do this whole, you know, Operation Aurora bullshit, right? Which is what he wants to call it. But it's like, will it benefit the economy in the long run or short term? No, it's going to be very expensive, and it's actually going to tank our economy. The deportation operation will begin in Aurora, Colorado. Earlier that day at a campaign rally in Aurora, he said he'd invoke Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to expedite gang members' removal and to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. Now, this is a farce, because we actually have documentation and proof that a lot of undocumented immigrants, by a huge majority, are not a part of this dark criminal network that Republicans are claiming exists. Like, it's not a thing. A lot of undocumented immigrants actually, by a huge majority, pay in taxes into the American system, and they're not even eligible for Social Security, Medicare, Medi-Cal, or anything like that, because they're undocumented. So they actually pay a lot into our taxes as well, which is something that Republicans don't talk about either. Trump was just referring to the Venezuelan gang, which is said to have taken over multiple apartment complexes in Aurora. Okay, here we go. It's the whole Haitians are eating dogs and cats rhetoric narrative, right? Because with the Haitians, he was saying that the Haitian gangs were taking over as well. So this is all honestly rooted in racism, bias. It's bullshit. I think anyone with 2 working brain cells can read this article and figure that out. But, you know, for someone who's a part of the MAGA movement, who has created his whole entire platform off of, you know, hate, this isn't really surprising.
I'm voting for Donald Trump because in 2017, 2018, like, I only make 70 grand a year. I was way better off. I have student debt. I make 70 grand a year. Like, I thought that was going to get forgiven. That's why I would have voted for him, and it didn't happen. So, like, I'm just tired of voting for people that aren't going to do shit. I was going to vote for Bernie Sanders in 2016, and then Hillary got in. I voted for Hillary.
Talk about a man that's all over the fucking place. First of all, $70,000 is more than what a lot of Americans make, so I'm not sure why you're bitching. Second of all, yeah, the economy sucks for all of us. That doesn't mean that Trump's gonna save it. Also, Americans act like inflation is like only an America problem. Y'all realize that inflation is an issue worldwide, right? Like, inflation has been a problem globally since COVID. So you dumb fucks are over here thinking that Biden is the one that's in charge of inflation, which I get it. I don't think he's great. I think he could have definitely put a harder hammer on corporations and making sure that they don't price gouge as much as they did, and making sure he holds them accountable. But at the same time, like, you fucking idiots. You know what? Americans are just so fucking short-sighted. Like, they see one problem and they see one person and they're like, you know what? Inflation? Biden's president, you're the problem. And listen, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, you know, Biden was the best, because no, Biden wasn't. Biden sucked ass, you know what I mean? But it's like, at the same time, let's be for real for a second.
Before I play this video, bro, we are not becoming slaves. What are y'all talking about? Let me play this clip.
I'm sorry. No. Why? I gotta go to sleep. I might wake up a motherfucking slave.
There's no way you guys collectively
That's crazy work. That's crazy.
allow social media to have you believe that you're about to become a slave because of who won presidency, bro. Yo, this is not the 1900s. It's not the 1800s. People got buttons, bro. No, ain't nobody becoming no slave. Like, what are y'all talking about? In the first video, Shawty sat there, put her phone up, just to scream into the phone, bro.
Listen, obviously Trump can do a lot and he has a lot of power. But I also feel like setting your phone up and screaming into the phone, or like crying and saying that you might wake up and become a slave, I feel like that just gives Republicans and Fox News more ammo. Now, I don't want to speak for Black people, because obviously they must be feeling a pain that I don't understand. At the same time, though, I just feel like it gives the other side a lot more ammo to paint liberal girl is crazy, you know what I mean?
We now know why Kamala refused to speak or concede to Trump, even though
Kamala.
she knew she was going to lose, as her camp is leaking that allegedly when she found out she was going to lose and she knew ahead of time, girls started getting on the sauce hard.
Yeah, if I lost that hard, I wouldn't want to go up on stage and speak either. Like, wouldn't you want to go back home and cry? Why are we demonizing her for that? Listen, I'm not her fan, but like, come on.
If you're a young person who cares at all about politics, which at this point means caring about human lives, we all hear from older generations about these times of prosperity where like politics didn't define how you felt about other people and you could separate politics and your personal life. And like, God, I wish I could believe that. I really wish that that was the truth. But with the interconnectedness of the internet and with the extremity of what is happening in the world, that's just not true anymore. We don't know what that's like. We don't know what it's like to be able to actually separate those things. If they actually were ever separable in the first place, or if that was just like a super white colonialist state of mind of thinking, as if we are not all human, as if we all do not deserve to exist and have rights to our own body. Why is that a part of the fucking argument? It is insane to have to grow up and watch so many adults around you, the majority of adults in your own country, in complete denial that this shit is serious and the planet that we live on is in jeopardy. This is,
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think that's true, because a lot of men ages 18 to 29 voted majority Trump. Like, we've shifted from this era of thinking that old people are the only ones that don't believe in climate change to the era of Aiden Ross and Sneeko, you know, parading around Trump. I mean, it's not just boomers. A lot of young people voted red too, and I think this is going to start a huge shift, because we need to throw away the whole Gen Z is gonna be the generation that saves us bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, no, Gen Z men, y'all lost them. Y'all lost them. Lost. They're gone. Like, lost in the sauce. Red pilled. Which is why I think women, like, you can do whatever you want with your body, but just know that a lot of these men voted against your bodily autonomy and your bodily autonomy rights. So before you give it up, maybe consider if the person you're about to give it up to believes in your bodily autonomy. And if he doesn't, don't. He doesn't deserve it. A strike on our vaginas. All right? All it takes is multiple women to do it for it to catch on.
We're never giving up hope. We're never giving up hope.
We're not going back, guys.
I'm optimistic.
Yeah. Not scared by the numbers at this point. They're not painting a bit of a dark picture.
But we have a long night to go. There are a lot of votes left to count, and we still have a lot of states left to declare.
This aged very badly.
How you doing? Have you voted already?
Oh, also, did you guys see this call? Apparently it was a fake call.
Give me a second. You did? Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Wait, I'm sorry, that is so funny. There's no way.
Thank you.
We love a transparent queen. Oh my god, that is so funny. The saddest part about this election is that if Kamala wins, every lower middle class family will struggle heavily due to inflation. God, you guys are some fucking idiots, bro. I won't be able to move out when I turn 18 and support myself due to housing prices. You think that Donald Trump is gonna bring down the housing prices? No other president has been able to do that. And you think Donald Trump is gonna be able to do that? And I'll feel unsafe in my own place in a country which I should never feel. Wow, a white woman feels unsafe. Let me cry you a fucking river.
Creep on in, on in, on in.
I voted for Donald Trump so my children can have a better future. You voted for Kamala Harris so you can abort yours. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That's just a crazy thing to say, you know what I mean?